All right, Isaac Harris. Spencer Dinwiddie, Davis Bertans make their debut. We've talked about how Jason Kidd adjusted, and I think for the last 5 days, you and I have said, okay, well, the Mavs get Spencer Dinwiddie, they acquire him in a trade. Well, what is it going to look like? Who could he possibly play with? Well, he's not going to play with Luka and Brunson, so it's going to have to be, Luka and Dinwiddie or Brunson and Dinwiddie. I'm interested to see how those lineups play out. And dang it, didn't Jason Kidd just throw out all three of them right away in the first half? The Spencer Dinwiddie comes out, Luka and Brunson stay on the floor, and they just tried the three guards together, and immediately the Heat went on a 7-0 run, and you're just like, it just is clunky. And Spencer Dinwiddie has to have the ball in his hands, and that was that to me was something that he changed in the second half and didn't go back to. But I found that funny that it was the first thing he went to. Was like, let me just throw all three of these guys out there and see what happens.
Yeah, he put him in, and I was like, wait, is JB still out there?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is happening? And that definitely caught me by surprise. And, I don't want to say it will never work, but it's just right now.
Against some teams it will.
Some teams
Not
it will.
this one.
Dinwiddie will have to prove to teams that he can hit the outside shot consistently for that to work. But
I think it's more about the defense. I think the offense can work because all of a sudden there's a couple plays in this one where all three of them are on the court and you swing the ball around enough. Then you have three guys that can attack from any angle. And that just, throws the defense completely off. And so
especially for a guy like,
I think that can work. It's the defensive end that I think they're really going to struggle on that end because you just don't have the guys to throw at, when you don't have the wings to throw at some of these perimeter players unless you have like Dorian and Bullock and Josh Green and some of these other guys.
That's the intriguing part offensively is how many times has Luka played with a lineup to where there have been two guys that can create, get to the rim, and play make.
Did he play with JJ Barea and Devin Harris? Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? That's like it.
Yeah. And, you could say, okay, Brunson, Tim Hardaway. Tim's not the get to the like creator type that like a Dinwiddie is. So
like Brunson and Curry, maybe Curry at times could do that, but not really.
I'm not like fully in love with it. Like if he didn't play that very much at all, I'd be fine with it. But I'm also not opposed to it either. Dinwiddie tonight, 0 of 2 from 3. That second 3 he missed. I think the ball went into the actual ocean in Miami, but he was 2 of 5 from the field. Obviously not a great offensive night from him shooting wise, but I thought he made I feel like you could watch him tonight and say he's just trying to make the right play every single time. I almost wanted him to be a little bit more aggressive tonight at times because he was just making the right pass. I mean, which is great. And it's like hitting the guys, doing his thing, trying to get everybody involved. And there are a couple times he got to the rim. I'm like, ooh, that's what I'm excited to see with you with this team. Having another guy out there like, oh, cool. It's now Luka or JB that can get to the rim. That's awesome.
We've been doing this way too long because that's the exact sentence I was about to say. That it popped every time that he, like the 2 times he got to the rim, because we're just not used to seeing somebody else be able to get to the rim on the court when it's just Luka or just Brunson on the floor. We're used to these guys that can literally only take the ball from where they are to somewhere very close to that and not from, the 3-point line to the bucket. He gets those 2 shots. He does miss 4 free throws, which stink for him. He's an 80%.
Kid mentioned that after the game.
He's an 80% free throw shooter for his career, so I expect that to be better. But he did have 5 assists, to your point about making the right play. He did. He swung the ball around. He made the right play. He did not call his number as often as I would have liked to as well, but for this first game, he made a little bit of a contribution, got the 5 assists because he was swinging the ball around enough. And it's just great to have a ball mover in the NBA that could be a threat to attack. The Mavs don't have anybody else like that besides Luka and Brunson, and you can already see where he's going to have an impact.
I mean, what's the opposite of Washington? I'd much rather say what we're saying right now, but man, I wish he'd be a little bit more aggressive instead of, wow, he was a black hole tonight. He just wanted to take this thing over.
How many times this year have we been like, oh, the only players that can dribble against this other team are Luka and Brunson? Literally no one else can dribble because they'll just get hounded by the defense and then turn the ball over. And Dinwiddie is another guy that can dribble, which is important.
And just having him come off the bench I think I texted you in the second half, And I don't even have the net rating of this lineup in front of me. I don't even know if it sucked or whatever. But I'm like, I don't think there's been a non-Luka lineup that I've been like semi excited about than the lineup of it was Dinwiddie, Bertans, Dorian, Brunson, and I think Maxi on the floor. It was without Luka, and I'm like, all right, this is fun. Like this is something I'm like, I feel like they could hold. I feel like those 5 guys could hold the ship, afloat while Luka can get some rest and stuff. But yeah, I mean,
yeah, it was in this game. It was Brunson, Dinwiddie, Josh Green, Kleber, and Bertans. Like that lineup has a little bit of defense with Green and Maxi. Has the shooting with Bertans, Brunson, Maxi, and then the playmaking of Brunson, Dinwiddie, and Josh Green. Right? I mean, that's a bench lineup that can play against benches and be really good. Moving over to Davis Bertans.
Yeah.
Man.
The flamethrower, the Latvian laser.
It's what I wanted, right? It's like, I just wish Davis would come in. What did I say? Hit 5 threes? He hit 3 of them in this game. And some of them, I feel like he was just putting up there, but and just chucking up some threes.
Really?
But his gravity matters, right? And his gravity is going to change some things for the Mavs. His game feels a little bit like Boban's to me in the sense that when he's on the floor, you're just like completely drawn to him, and there's really nothing else you can kind of do. You know what I mean? It's like he's out there, and they're just gonna be running stuff for Bertans. They're just gonna be running plays for Bertans because that's what they do when Boban's out there. But I thought his shooting mattered a lot. He had that and one dunk, and it was funny. I think Tim Cato tweeted that he can only score in multiples of 3. Like Bertans can't hit it 2 at all. He can only score in 3s.
And his yell after that. I felt that. It
was cathartic, so man. Real. It was cathartic.
Yes, I'm like, let the yell out of you are not in Washington D.C. anymore.
No, and he talked about that after the game. Now I know that I'm here. It's more organized. He literally said it's more organized.
Yeah,
what he said after the game.
How much he's having fun. How much he enjoyed every second of it tonight.
And to that point, Maxi, after the game, was interviewed by Bally Sports and was asked about these 2 guys. And he said, man, these 2 guys are just cool guys. We loved having them in, joking around with them, bringing them onto the team. And it just feels like they've been on the team for a long time. Luka mentioned that him and Davis were speaking Serbian together. And, Spencer Dinwiddie knows Jared Dudley. And so you just have these connections with these guys. And it feels like the chemistry is kind of already there with some of these guys. And they fit in with this team. And it's different from what they had possibly before with another player that was on the team.
You talking about Willie or no? Just kidding.
True.
Reliably tweeted this after the game. Somebody tweeted at him about, I guess it might have been a Wizards fan or whatever. And this guy tweeted at Reliably and said, "Hey, I'm dying at Mavs fans who watch Bertans make a couple threes and they think he's good now, whatever." And Bob says basically what we've kind of been saying, and I said this the other day. I was breaking down how many games, he's played in 34 games this season in Washington compared to, I think it's like 500 and something games for his career. And it's like, we want to judge the last 34 games. And Bob says, hey, he's being sarcastic, total flash in the pan. A guy who shot 40%, 37, 43, 42, 40% from 3 in his previous 5 seasons. But I'm sure the 32% he shot through 34 games this year is a true reflection of it. Like true sarcasm there, but that's the point of this dude has played so long in his career, shot over 40% from 3. And, when this trade happens, it was like, oh my gosh, Bertans, he sucks shooting now. It's like, all right, well, just look, can we not give him a chance? Like 34 games out of 500 and something that he's shot the ball bad.
On a weird Wizards team that were good at the beginning of the year, have all these wings. And I mean, there's so many reasons.
Dude's gonna chuck the ball up. I mean, yes. Dorian called him a flamethrower the first, when they first made the trade. And I mean, when those first few threes went in, I was just so hyped. But it's like, it's what you're saying. And I even tweeted this after the game. He hit 3 threes in this game. And not to do the whole like KP comp again, but it's KP only hit 3 or more threes this season 6 times. If he just hit like one more 3, like 4 threes in a game, KP only did that 1 time this season. So just having another guy out there that's a respectable shooter that can shoot the 3 ball at a 40% clip, it does provide so much space and gravity. There was that time in the second half, maybe the fourth quarter, where he caught the ball. I swear it was like 35 feet out and he pump faked over
with
on,
Duncan
like,
Robinson in front of him. Yeah.
on the left wing. I'm like, whoa, okay.
But Duncan like went for him. He like juked.
Yeah.
He juked him and was like, "Oh, I'm a 3-point shooter. You're a 3-point shooter. I know you can take a shot from there."
This guy's gonna camp out in the corner for the rest of the season and hit so many threes, and it's like,
and he only played 13 minutes, and that's fine, right? That's what we expected from him. 13 minutes, 15 minutes, some nights against other teams that are not the number one team in the East that plays good defense and can attack you with guys that go him off of screens and stuff. Maybe he'll play 20 minutes a game, but this is what you wanted from him to hit threes like this, to come in off the bench. And the Mavs he scored 12 points off the bench. In the last game against the Clippers, the Mavs scored 4 points off the bench, right? That's numbers. That's the difference right there.
If Maxi gets back to shooting consistently at that 40% mark, I mean, the ability to say, if we're needing points right now, we're behind in the fourth, whatever it is, or even at the very last possession of a game and you need a three, to be able to throw out Brunson, Reggie Bullock, Bertans, and Maxi alongside Luka. Now, I mean, you legit have 4 good 3-point shooters. So anyway,